All right. Cheers, man.
Cheers. Okay, so our last,
Now, right?
yeah, I was gonna
Nope,
say our
that's
last
Wednesday.
episode. Like I said, it's gonna take a couple minutes for me to get used to it. Now that my palate has been cleansed, I love this.
It is good.
I love this. This is good.
Yeah, Hakkaisan. And this is like I said, Hakkaisan is the brand that you get when you want to feel a little fancy.
Even though this is like 1,100 yen.
Well, this is the cheap. This is like This is like the
This is like if you go to Coach and you get the little Coach keychain.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you get the Coach keychain.
This is my Coach.
This is the keychain. That's great, man. We should talk about how so many people are obsessed with Louis Vuitton and those like high name brand things.
You mean a Louis Vuitton?
Vuitton, yeah.
Louis Vuitton?
At Versace. Yeah. No, but we're not going to be talking about that today. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that I've wanted to talk about for about 2 months now, and that is
the vibes that we want to teach our children about America.
Dude, are you like Jenny now?
Give them some good vibes. Yeah. No, it's like you want to instill like we're both American and you want to instill that Americanness onto your kids because that's part of their identity.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting topic because I think this is a topic that transcends our experience here because this is very much the American experience.
Yeah.
Right? Because America is the only country in the world. Fuck you, Canada. America is the only country in the world that is an immigrant country.
And Australia, too. You forgot that.
Whatever. America is the only country in the world that is an immigrant country.
Yeah, all you need to do is just stop at world. America is the only country in the world that's most American.
It's the only country in the world that's an immigrant country.
Yeah.
Right? It's like our entire identity is built off this dual identity of being an American, but also having family that comes from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? Because our country is only 250 years old, right? It's a very young country. Like, you talk about 250 years in Japan, and it's like, what even really happened?
It's like
Japan such a drop in
3,000 years.
Dude, yeah, it's such a drop in the bucket compared to like Japan's massive history. Yeah, like 250 years. Yeah, I don't know. Some stuff happened, and a city was raised, and another city was built, and some guy was an emperor. Forget about that. Here's the thing that happened like 3,000 years ago, and there was this like really influential thing.
Yeah.
We haven't been around that long, and part of the thing, and especially people who move to America and then have kids, part of their thing is like, okay, wait, you're American, but don't forget where you came from.
Yeah, right. That big thing about don't forget where you came from is really important.
Yeah, and so both of us have talked about this, privately before, and that's a really big thing for us. It's like I want our kid or my kids to know that they're also American. It's not half and half. It's you are Japanese and you are American.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. It's not like half of you is Japanese, half of you is American. It's like you're both.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because we talked about this in the past on camera and off camera about how like our cultural heritage and how I think my family is much stronger on that. But what I found out is I was actually looking up like the history of Greeks in America.
Yeah.
And actually, for Greek Americans, there's a strong trend of them being more emphatic about their cultural heritage than other people groups.
Oh, really?
In general. Yeah. So it's like the Greeks are much more emphatic that you are from Greece. And what's funny is, so my dad, around 2000, he wanted to get in touch with his roots, so he went to Greece.
Yeah.
And my grandfather, his father, who's 100% Greek, his dad came from Greece.
So you're a third generation, fourth generation.
I'm the last in my line that can get Greek citizenship. That's how it works.
You can
get
get
up to the fourth.
Oh, okay.
Get up to the fourth generation.
I think in my family, I think maybe fourth generation. So my grandfather on my mom's side, his parents,
Mhm.
I think, were in the UK. My grandma, her parents
Mhm.
were from Ireland.
Yeah.
And then on my dad's side, I don't know. It might go back another generation.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so it's about it's around that age of like
about
mass
100 years
immigration in,
ago.
like in the late 1800s, early 1900s
Yeah.
is when a lot of immigration happened.
Yeah.
But so my my grandfather never talked about Greece.
Yeah.
And they went to Greek school, actually. They went, like, my dad and his three sisters went to Greek school every Saturday or something like that to learn Greek culture, whatever.
Have you ever been to Japanese school?
I went to one in Seattle, actually, just to check it out. And
it's really intense.
yeah, it's interesting because, like, most of the Japanese Americans are super Americanized now, more than the other.
Well, you know, that's because of World War II.
Yeah.
Right. There were, like, if you for those wanting to know, like, the history of that, and you know, and this is still relevant to the topic of, like, instilling culture, but in the opposite. There's a really famous book called Farewell to Manzanar. It's one of my favorite books. I love this book. So this girl is obviously Japanese American. Her father and mother are both from Japan, and World War II breaks out, and her father is, like, conflicted because his family comes from Hiroshima.
Okay.
And his family is a samurai family. They're, like, really embedded, and, like, the reason why he moved to America was because you know, after samurai kind of just lost all their power, his family didn't really know what to do, and he refused to become a merchant.
Yeah.
Like, because they looked at that as, like, lower.
Yeah, that was like the lowest
God,
class,
I don't
right?
want to become a merchant. So he decided to move to America and, like, you know, start a new life. But then it's like, you know, when World War II broke out, you know, he felt, you know, he obviously, being Japanese, he loved Japan, but he identified as an American. Like, I love America and I'm staying here. I'm not going back to Japan. And that's how his family kind of felt the same. So there was this really big emphasis for a lot of Japanese Americans to just completely abandon their Japanese side and just fully embrace American culture.
Especially because of the war.
Yeah. So nowadays, when you meet a lot of Japanese Americans, I'm talking families who've been in America for a while, not recently moved. Some of them can't even speak Japanese. Like, there was a girl in my high school. Her name was Keiko, like, Hiranaka or something
she still
like
had
that.
like a Japanese name?
She was a full-on Japanese name, could not speak a single bit of Japanese at all. Knew nothing about Japanese culture. It was crazy. Right?
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of German Americans too.
Yeah.
They actually changed their last names to sound less German. Like, like, was it Donald Trump? Like, his dad's original last name was Trump or something.
Yeah, it was
like
Trump.
Trump.
Yeah.
You know, they changed it.
Yeah.
So what's funny about that is I feel like my grandfather was kind of the same way. He didn't really talk about the Greek stuff so much. But then my dad, in like 2000, in the summer, he went to Greece.
Yeah.
And what was interesting was he met so many Americans in Greece.
Dude,
and
I want to talk about
this. It's funny because, and these were Greek Americans who would go back to their family in the summer. Like, my great-grandfather, his town is a population of about 100 people. I'm pretty sure there are more goats than there are people. And he went there and he saw an American dude on a tractor saying, yeah, you know, my family were from America. We come back here every year. And what's funny too is I went with him in like 2005 or 2006 or something. And we went to a hotel in Athens because he wanted me to experience the, you know, Greek heritage, right? And we went to a super cheap hotel in Athens, and the person at the front, he looked at our last name. He's like, oh, Zitis, are you guys Greek? I'm like, yeah. Where are you from? Like, oh, we're from America. He's like, oh, cool. Where are you from? I'm like, oh, we're from Boston. Oh, cool. I'm from Peabody. Peabody is like the town next over from where I'm from.
Okay.
Because, like, there's tons of Greek people there. And, like, so you have this, like, huge emphasis of you're American, but you go back to Greece.
So are Greek people, like, accepting of Greek Americans?
Yeah, I mean, if you speak the language, you can interact. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It happens. But
because let me give you a perspective. So, like, my friends always joke because I say that I'm Irish American.
Hey guys, if you've watched this far, you're going to love our Austin and Arthur friends.
In the Austin and Arthur Friends, you're going to really improve your English listening, and I mean a lot. As a friend of ours, you will get each episode ahead of time with no ads, so you can watch before anyone else. But not just that, you can ask us questions or leave comments, and we will make a special video each week answering questions and responding to comments. These videos will not be released publicly. They are for friends, members only. It's a great way for you to ask our opinions directly and for us to respond directly. You'll also get listening practice questions and answers that you can check. Answers are for friends, members only. Oh, and anaume mondai mo desu ne. So you can check your listening. But not just that, for each episode, you'll get a list of native phrases we said from the video, along with practice sentences and pronunciation practice to help your speaking as well. You'll also get access to a members-only community where you can talk with us, the both of us. Mainly me, right?
No, definitely not. This is a great way to support our show, but also get closer to us and improve your English as well. For more information, click on the link in the description box, the gayorang, or go to our website, austinandarthur.com.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I'm gonna go get it.
No. I got to do this because look, this is how you properly fill up sake. It's like
Yeah. But you need a masu though. Gross, man. What's going on, man?
I need to drink it off the table.
I know, but you're. It's fine.
It's great. No,
Everyone listening on
this
the
is what
podcast
people
watch
our
YouTube
show
video.
for.
Yeah.
This is the entertainment. But no, so I identify as like Irish American, and a lot of my friends make fun of me for that because they're just like, well,
You're not really Irish.
You're not really Irish. You can't speak Celtic. Like you know nothing about Ireland, and it's like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like it's the identity that you grow up in. Like I was grown up Catholic. You know, it's like as Irish Americans, like what is the food that I ate like constantly? Pork chop, like kind of like some kind of vegetable and applesauce.
Yeah.
Right. It's like pork chop, steak, like those kind of things, and you know, most of my family's a bunch of alcoholics or drug dealers, so we got that too. So it's like I'm really embracing my Irish side.
Yeah.
But one of the things is Ireland constantly rejects and makes fun of people going back to Ireland from America.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. So the term plastic patty.
Oh, you a plastic patty? Yeah.
You know, you've heard that term before, right?
Patty means Irish person.
Yeah, so a patty means Irish person, but plastic obviously means fake.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, oh, you're just another plastic patty. Okay.
Yeah.
Go fuck off back to America, like that kind of idea.
Yeah.
So it's interesting from hearing that like Greek people are accepting of American Greeks.
Yeah. I think it goes back to like so the Irish people, because they do speak Gaelic, but they're part of the UK, and so they speak English. Well,
we gotta be careful with that one.
So I don't think any Irish extremists are going to bomb me here in Yokohama, but but anyways, So, but they're part of the Greater Britain area, and so they all speak English. So it's much easier for them to meld into English society, and American society. But for the Greeks, it's a little bit more different. So, like I said, if you can speak the language, that's okay. But you know, I remember though, growing up, my dad really put an effort into reminding me that I was Greek.
Sure.
Even though I didn't speak the language and I had never been to Greece, like he would read me stories from Greek myths. We would watch The Last Stand of the 300 Spartans because my family's from Sparta. And
nice.
What's funny is like actually I thought that was a really unique thing, but the majority of Greek immigrants at the time my great-grandfather came over were from Sparta.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's just a shitty place to live at that time. That's why. But yeah, so he really put an emphasis of like, you're Greek, you know? And, you know, now when I'm with my kids, you know, because my kids are so young that they don't even understand what it means to be Japanese, you know? And so I'm thinking about like, okay, I don't want to like shove this down their throat. But then again, also another thing too is because, I was born in Germany, I went to international school. When I remember when we would go visit my grandparents, my mom would read me old folk tales, old American folk tales about Paul Bunyan, John Henry, Johnny Appleseed. And just to try to instill that Americanness in me. And so, like for me too, I don't want to try to make it seem like being American is better than being Japanese because they're both different.
Yeah.
But I really want them to grow up with a clear identity of what these both are. So for me, one of the things we watch a lot is actually there's a short Disney video on John Henry and another short video on Johnny Appleseed talking about these American folk tales. And so right now we watched a lot, and I'm not trying to force them to watch it, but they want to watch it, but just trying to get them into those stories.
Yeah, I think for me, like, because we've kind of discussed, like, do we want to raise our kids here in Japan, or do we want to raise them in America? And and in our last episode, I talked about, like, I wanted to raise my kids here in Japan, but I don't want them to. It'd be great if they lived in Japan, but I don't want them to go to college here.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason for that, the reason why I don't want them to go to college here is I think that, like, one of the problems. Sorry, guys. Warning. I'm going to complain about Japan here.
Austin loves Japan.
I love Japan. One of the problems that I have with here, and this doesn't apply to everybody, but I think that there's a lot of, especially young people, when they enter a career, there's a lot of, like, just drone behavior.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's not a lot of critical thinking. You don't really think about why things exist. Like, you follow the rules, you listen to the people who are older than you, and it's part of that, like, senpai-kohai relationship, right? Senpai can't make mistakes because they are senpai. Like, I need to listen to them and I need to follow them. And you see that with new hires at a company, right? They're just like, hi, just listening and doing whatever the person says. And it really feels like they don't have, like, agency.
Yeah. That's
and
for sure.
I don't want my kids to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
I would like my kids to go back to the US and go to college there, because one of the things that the college does in the US is they instill critical thinking skills.
Yeah, right.
Right? And it's not necessarily trying to make them more rebellious, but it's like, okay, look, this rule exists. Why does it exist?
Yeah, right.
Okay, let me think about that. Does it make sense? Is it logical? Okay, I agree with this, or I disagree with this. I want them to think about that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a really key part of American experience, because a lot of people will kind of look at American culture and go, well, Americans are just rebels all the time. We always just say, fuck the establishment.
Yeah.
And it's not true.
Yeah.
Right? Americans will follow the rules if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? That's a really big thing about, like, American culture is, like, I'm going to decide which rules I follow.
Yeah, right.
Right? I'm going to think about them and I'm going to go, this makes sense to me. I'm going to agree with this and follow this. And once you've made that decision, you're, like, really committed to it.
Yeah, right.
Right? And I really want my kids to follow that.
Yeah, no, I get that. And that's also kind of like, we're talking about values there. Like, do you just want to follow the rules, or do you want to analyze the rules and follow what's best for you? And yeah, I get that. Talking about, this is going to sound super uekaramese or super patronistic, especially because I'm not even Japanese. But I feel like a lot of Japanese people are not really Japanese. And by
okay,
let me
going with this?
Let me explain what I mean by this.
All right.
So as far as the cultural norms and values go,
okay,
they follow that. But a lot of people don't really know the history of Japan.
That is so crazy to me.
And they're not really interested in it. They're like, oh, I'm Japanese, but what does that mean? If you're asked, like, what does it mean to be a Japanese person?
Dude, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, and so, like, because in the States, and I think part of it is because, we are a mixed country, and so you do have to emphasize the
really
story of
beat
who
that
you
in.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
so,
true.
but in Japan, like, there's so much historical amnesia of like, oh, what happened in the past? I don't know. There was samurai.
Yeah.
Or like, what does it mean to be Japanese? What's special about Japan? Like, so many people, young people that I talk with, dude, they don't know anything about history. They don't know about where they're coming from. They don't know like what Japan is.
It's so crazy to me. I'll give you a really good example of this is talking to somebody about their family history.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, there are some people who keep like really long records of where their family comes from. But I think a good chunk of people, especially in Tokyo, if you go, where's your family from? Oh, well, my family's from Niigata. My family's from Kyushu. Okay, but like, I'm talking like 100 years ago. Where's your family from? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, they'll say that, right? That's, I don't know where my family's from. And that's crazy to me.
And the thing too is they don't see why it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so I love history.
Yeah.
I don't like history class, but I love history because history shows you where you've come from.
Yep.
And the present is where you are right now. And if you can like line those two things up, then you can kind of plot a trajectory of where you're going to go in the future. So it's important to learn about history because if you want to know what's going to happen in the future, learning history really helps you with that.
Sure.
But here, I feel like people are just floating. There's no
feel like
past or
that.
future. There's just a present.
I think, I don't know. Like, I don't know what Japan was like prior to World War II. There was definitely an emphasis to embrace American culture after World War II, right? That's obvious. Everyone knows about it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad because I think so many people have tried to like remove themselves from that history.
Yeah.
That, and as you know, you can even go back to before World War II, where you go to like the Meiji Restoration, and it's like, you know, the fall of the samurai and everything. And it's like, I think at that time too, a lot of people really tried to distance themselves. Like, you know, especially if you came from like a samurai family, like, I don't want to be part of that anymore, right? And Japan experienced that so many times that I think that nowadays there's so many people who are just completely disconnected with their history.
Yeah. So let me ask you. So, because I think because you grew up on the West Coast, I grew up on the East Coast, and also we have different backgrounds. So fundamentally, what we were taught as kids is different. But what were some like folk tales or stories that you grew up with?
So, I think the West Coast doesn't really do folk tales.
Oh, really? Okay.
I really think that, like, because we've talked about this off camera a lot, and like talking about like Paul Bunny and Johnny and Appleseed, but like I never really grew up with them.
Okay.
And we were never really exposed that much to that. But what we were exposed to is more historical figures.
Yeah.
So like reading like Mark Twain's story.
Oh yeah, Mark Twain. Like
so
Huckleberry Finn.
So that kind of experience, and you know, I've mentioned it a lot on this show. My love for cowboys.
Yeah,
and West Coast culture. There's a lot of cowboy stories.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's California.
Yeah.
Right. California was like the place for cowboys. It's like Texas is famous for cowboys, but like all of the stories you see of cowboys are like they take place in like, you know, LA or San Francisco back before they were cities, right? Like they were just like these areas that there's just no law. There's no real government control at all. Like Mexico used to be in charge of that. So there's a lot of Mexicans, you know, there's a lot of Native Americans, and it's like you have Americans just trying to figure out where they're part of that. And so I think we really connect with like cowboy stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, that makes sense. Like I grew up hearing stories about Billy the Kid too, and Wyatt Earp,
Billy the Kid, Wyatt Earp, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, you have those stories, but you know, it's not just my wife. I've asked many of my students about what are some folk tales or stories that you hear growing up that really kind of show Japanese culture.
Yeah,
and most of them draw a blank.
Mm-hmm.
If they say anything, it's like Kachikachiyama, which is about a raccoon that goes around and does adventures. But that's because there was like a cartoon series about it.
I want to talk about something, but
yeah, so it's like I feel like there's no real like sense of strong identity
Yeah.
anymore. But what were you going to say?
I was going to say something that immediately just jumped to me is Native American folklore
Yeah.
is really big on the West Coast.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So like something that immediately jumps out, and you probably are aware of this, is like White Fang.
Actually, I don't know White Fang.
You don't know White Fang?
What's that?
So White Fang is the story of a wolf that eventually, like, he starts, well, obviously he's born a wolf, and he's I forget what happens to his mom. I think his mom dies, and some Native American hunters find him and adopt him as their pet dog.
Yeah.
Right. And they eventually encounter like some white guy. I forget what his business is, but anyways, they're doing a trade.
Yeah.
And the white guy is like, dude, I really like your dog. Or is he for sale? And it's like hunter's like favorite dog. And he's like, I really don't want to sell it. And the guy's like, dude, name your price. I want that dog. And so the guy finally agrees to sell him. And so White Fang eventually like lives on this homestead with this guy and his family, and he like there's this like little girl that the guy's daughter, and so the dog like makes this big connection with the little girl, and eventually like there's this bad guy who shows up and like sneaks into the house to like steal stuff, and like the dog attacks it, and the guy shoots the dog.
Okay.
And the guy who bought the dog is like really upset about it. Like the guy gets arrested or whatever, but he's like really upset because the dog's been shot, and like he's like, I don't care what it costs, but I'm going to help this dog. And so eventually they help the dog, and then he lives a happy life on this farm. But it's like that those kind of stories. There's a ton of like Native American stories that are like really animal focused.
Yeah,
and that's like
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
White Fang.
Really? So yeah, it's kind of a short story, but
so speaking of stories though, so you read. Do you do bedtime reading with Luna?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah,
okay.
She's still a little bit too young, but yeah, I'm planning on doing. Dude, I can't wait. Yeah. Like, so I am a huge Tolkien fan. So I'm we're doing Lord of the Rings. We're doing Hobbit.
Lord of the Rings, man. At what age?
Probably around 9.
Yeah.
So
So like with Lewis and Leo, my kids, we do bedtime every time. And recently, Natsumi's been doing bedtime a lot more because I have meetings at night a lot more.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that's kind of like a tension for me, is because their default language now is Japanese. And they understand English no problem, but their default is Japanese.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's always going to be the case.
Yeah.
It's just as long as they live here in Japan.
Yeah. And so we're getting all of these storybooks in Japanese.
Yeah.
Like Nontan and stuff. And so I'm like thinking, okay, one of the best ways that I can kind of share these stories is during bedtime. And so I actually go out of my way to buy not just English books, but like culturally significant English books.
So I really like where you're going, but I want to talk about what you brought up earlier. We'll come back to the book part. Sorry, I'm burping, guys. Apologies. So I've been drinking a lot.
I smell that over here now, man.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna travel here.
So okay. So there is a really lots of stuff laughing. So there's a really nice story about, I forget what the name of the short story is, but basically there's a story about a guy who's Mexican, and he's Mexican American, right, and his family is from Mexico, and he was born in America, and he was raised in American culture, but his family is obviously Mexican, so they really tried to instill like this Mexican culture, and he's fully fluent in Spanish.
Yeah,
but he describes speaking English as a very transactional language for him.
Yeah,
and Spanish feels like a very intimate language to him, because the only time he used Spanish is when he was talking with his family.
Yeah, right.
Right? And I think that's the same when it comes to our kids and, if any like mixed nationality families. With our kids, it's going to be the same thing.
Mhm.
Like Japanese is going to be a very transactional language where it's like this the language that you use in your daily life.
Mhm.
You use it to get stuff done here. You use it to communicate with your friends here. But when it comes to communicating with your family, not so much because it's just, it's just dad.
Yeah.
Realistically, like the rest of the family's Japanese. But
Yeah.
like when it comes to communication, it's going to be very intimate because you're talking with your parent.
Yeah.
Right. So that's something that I find very interesting because I think on maybe a subconscious level, maybe our kids aren't really going to think about this, but English is always going to be something that's very like important and close to them.
Yeah.
Even if like they're not using it every day.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, so my two sons' first languages were English because that's what we spoke at home, and now they go to Hoikuen and Yochien, so they speak Japanese mainly. But
Yeah,
I mean, the thing that I'm just thinking about, is because sometimes I think about why is this so important to me?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think it goes back to what you were saying before, which is, there are kids and I want them to have the best life that they can.
Yeah.
And no culture is perfect. And so what I want them to do is I want them to take the good parts of Japanese culture,
Yeah.
but then also take the good parts of American culture, and kind of put them together but if they don't know what an American is, they can't do that.
Yeah.
And so, So, I mean, with my kids, I'm lucky because we go to the States every year. They spend time with grandma and grandpa. But I really just want them to kind of get the values of what I see as American values, which are, like you said, self-reliance.
Yep.
Critical thinking. Problems by yourself, critical thinking. And that's why I think I really want to focus on these stories because they share those values.
Yeah. I just think that like if I were to really distill down the best qualities of like America and Japan, I would say Japan, hands down, daily life.
Yeah.
People know how to just disconnect from all the bullshit in the bigger world. People are really good at that here in Japan. Something that I really hate about America is how divisive everything is. There's so many different tribes of people.
It's also very confrontational.
Very confrontational, right? There's so many different tribes of people that'll be like, you'll be in like a daily thing, like you'll be at work and somebody will bring up like, did you see what Trump did? Or did you see like this on the news? And it's like, how could these liberals be like this?
I gotta stop you right there because I'm sorry, I don't want to shit on my sister, but I have to because I remember
it's gonna spill all out now.
So there was this book that I got for Christmas maybe 2 Christmases ago, and it was a book that was like an illustrated history of Walt Disney animation.
Yeah.
And so what they did was they had really nice detailed images of like all the different animation movies and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a really well put together book. And when I got the book for myself, and my sister, she saw it. The first thing she said is, "Oh yeah, good on." No. So she said, "Oh, good on you for getting like a mass-produced book and not trying to support local publishing companies." So they could have made a book like that.
The amount of like, so okay, all right. Everybody who thinks like shit on Japan, listen up. Here's me talking crap on America. You know what drives me insane about America? People can't just respect a famous political or a famous historical figure.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you can't be like, yeah, George Washington was a really interesting person. Oh, well, he owned slaves, so he's a bad person.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Martin Luther King, he had a second family. And the guy was a famous womanizer.
He was also a rapist too.
Yeah. Gandhi was a pedophile.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to really dig into the deep, dirty stuff, every single person in history was a piece of shit. If you really want to look at that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they didn't do amazing things.
Yeah.
right? Because that's the thing. There's no such thing as a good person or a bad person. There's only like perspectives that you can look
then
at.
it's like,
things,
oh,
right?
this person had this bad part, so we need to cancel everything.
Exactly, right? And it drives me insane because you see that all the time in America. You know, it's like, I'm going to bring up some contemporary stuff.
Yeah.
So Charlie Kirk was recently assassinated, right? And it's like, it's a really divisive thing right now, right? And you constantly see people just bad-mouthing him. And I'm like, look, I'm not a huge supporter of him, like, but he wasn't really that big of a deal.
And
Like,
it was before he wasn't.
he really wasn't. And like, people just make him out to be like this giant monster of a human being. And it's like, the guy didn't deserve to die. But it's like, my point in bringing this up is like, everyone just tries to immediately cancel
so
somebody because,
but even if you don't get into political stuff, like let's say you're eating pasta.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, do you know how many carbs are in pasta? Why don't you take care of your body?
Yeah, exactly.
They're like 400 pounds eating like Twinkies on the side, you know?
Yeah. But it just drives me insane because it's just like, you're reading that novel? Yeah, I think that book kind of sucked. You should read this instead. You know, it's like, Americans have an opinion about fucking everything. And it drives me insane.
And they feel like they need to conform everyone to that opinion.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, your opinion sucks. You should adopt my opinion.
Yeah.
Right? So that's my issue with American culture.
Yeah.
I love the critical thinking part. I love that people are able to come to their own conclusions. I hate okay, I've made my decision. Now you need to follow my decision.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's why we need a balance between Japan and America.
Right.
You know?
But the thing that drives me insane about Japan is there's so many people who are just like content with things. Like, oh, well, yeah, the current political climate kind of sucks, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really affect my daily life. So yeah, I don't really care about voting. Or, oh, well, you know, this is happening, but whatever.
Yeah.
I hate my job, but you know, I'm just going to accept it. Right.
Yeah.
There's so many people who are experiencing that. And it drives me insane because it's like, well, if you hate your job, just quit.
Yeah, change your
job. I don't know. I don't know. That's going to be...
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of hard if I do that. I have to look for a new job.
Yeah.
It's like, dude...
Then stop complaining.
Stop complaining. Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So I really hope that our kids can find that balance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's funny because, you know, like America is too much.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, which I've read with my kids millions of times. You know, the porridge was too hot. The other porridge was too cold. The other porridge was just right. Shade it all up. You know, so that's like...
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what I hope for is more than anything, you know, we both just want our kids to grow up to be well-rounded, critical thinking people who, in the end, they have happy lives that are net benefits, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you just focus on one culture, you also take the negatives of that culture. I really hope that we can find a balance.
Yeah.
But we're already like really over time on this. But so if you guys have any questions or if you think, Austin, thank you for criticizing America and not Japan.
Fuck America, right? Right, everybody?
Yeah, leave a comment below and I'll see you next time, man. Okay.